You ever feel like your whole life is a setup for some sick joke? That's exactly how I felt when I realized the woman I married, the woman I trusted with everything, was playing me like a fiddle. My name's Andrew, I'm 45, and until last year, I thought I had the perfect life in Denver, Colorado. Big house in the suburbs, 2-car garage, a decent investment portfolio, and a wife who, at least in public, acted like she adored me. Her name was Charlotte. Blonde hair, bright smile, the kind of woman people turn their heads for when she walks into a Starbucks. Everyone thought I was the luckiest guy in the world. But here's the thing. Behind that smile, she was hiding the darkest, most twisted secret. And I only found out after she not only cheated on me, but then took me to court, walked away with my house, and, I swear to God, started blackmailing me with our private photos. Yeah, I know. It sounds like some messed up Netflix drama, but this was my real life. And trust me, it gets crazier. Because one random night at a bar in downtown Denver, I met a guy named Bruce. We got to talking, swapping stories over whiskey shots. And he pulls out a picture of his ex-wife. And guess what? It was the same woman. Charlotte. If you're watching this video, please do me a favor. Drop a comment and tell me where you're from. Hit that like button and subscribe, because you're not going to believe how deep this rabbit hole goes and how it all ended. Anyway, let's rewind a little, back to where it all started. Because honestly, I should have seen the red flags way earlier. So let me take you back a few years. Because if I don't tell you how it all began, none of this insanity is going to make sense. I met Charlotte in the most ordinary, almost cliché way. It was July of 2015, right before the 4th of July weekend, at a Whole Foods on Colorado Boulevard in Denver. I was grabbing some last-minute stuff for a barbecue. Burgers, hot dog buns, the usual. And she was standing in front of the craft beer section, looking lost. I remember she had this sundress on, light blue with little white flowers, and she was holding a 6-pack of some IPA, squinting at the label like it was written in Chinese. I cracked a joke, something like, "Careful with that one, it'll knock you out after just 2 bottles." She laughed. That easy movie scene kind of laugh that makes you feel like you just won a lottery ticket. Next thing I knew, we were standing there in the middle of Whole Foods, talking about beer, grilling, and how she'd just moved to Denver from Austin, Texas. Little did I know that random grocery store trip was about to change my entire life. We started dating almost immediately. Our first date was at this little place called the Cherry Cricket, a local burger joint that everyone in Denver swears by. I'd been there a dozen times with coworkers, but with her it felt different. She had this way of making even a basket of fries feel like some kind of romantic dinner in Paris. Charlotte was charming. That's the best word I can use. She could talk to anyone. The waiter, the bartender, the random guy sitting behind us at the Rockies game. Everyone liked her. And me. I was just some finance guy working for a mid-size firm downtown, driving a decent Ford Explorer, living in a 2-bedroom condo. But when I was with her, I felt like I was someone. By Christmas that year, we were basically inseparable. She started leaving things at my place. A toothbrush, her yoga mat, eventually half her closet. My buddies joked that she moved in without ever asking, and maybe they were right, but at the time, I didn't care. We got married in May of 2017. It was a small wedding up in Estes Park, in the Rocky Mountains. Just family, close friends, and the most beautiful backdrop you could imagine. I can still remember standing there in my tux, watching her walk down the aisle with the mountains behind her, thinking, man, I must have done something right in a past life. Life was good after that. We bought a house in Highlands Ranch, one of those quiet suburban neighborhoods where everyone waves when they see you, and kids ride their bikes in the cul-de-sac. 2 stories, white siding, a big backyard with a grill I was way too proud of. I thought we were building the dream. And for a while, it really felt like that. But here's the thing about hindsight. It'll wreck you. Because looking back, I can see the red flags I ignored. The first one was money. Charlotte always wanted more. More clothes, more trips, more just because gifts. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't cheap. I made a decent living, and I liked spoiling her. But it was never enough. She'd drop $600 at Nordstrom and act like it was no big deal. We'd go to Target for shampoo and end up with a $400 bill because she just found a few cute things. At first, I brushed it off. I told myself, that's just how women are, you know? The dumb stereotypes guys tell themselves when they don't want to admit something's off. The second red flag was how much she craved attention. We'd go out to dinner, like at P.F. Chang's downtown, and she'd spend half the time on her phone, snapping selfies, posting on Instagram, waiting for the likes to roll in. She had this little following online, nothing crazy, maybe a few thousand people, but she treated it like she was some kind of influencer. And I'll be honest, sometimes I caught guys sliding into her DMs. She'd laugh it off, show me, say, "Look at this creep." But part of me always wondered if there was more she wasn't showing me. Then there was the way she suddenly became busy. At first, Charlotte worked at a boutique clothing store near Cherry Creek. But after we got married, she said she wanted to focus on herself and quit. I didn't argue. I figured I made enough, and if she wanted time to explore hobbies, fine. But soon she was always out. Pilates classes, lunch with friends, shopping trips that lasted hours. I'd come home from work around 6:30, and she wouldn't roll in until 8 o'clock, sometimes later. "Oh, I grabbed dinner with Sarah," she'd say. Or, "I lost track of time at the mall." Again, I told myself it was normal. That's what wives do. That's what my wife did. The third red flag, and maybe the biggest, was how she handled conflict. If I ever brought up something that bothered me, even gently, she'd twist it around. Like one night, I asked, "Hey, do you think maybe we should cool it on the spending for a bit? I just want to make sure we're saving enough." She snapped. "So you think I'm irresponsible? You think I'm some kind of gold digger?" I remember sitting there stunned, trying to explain myself. But she wouldn't let me. She stormed off, slammed the bedroom door, and gave me the silent treatment for 2 days. I started learning it was easier to just keep my mouth shut. Now, don't get me wrong. It wasn't all bad. We had good moments too. Trips to Vegas, weekends in Aspen, lazy Sundays watching Netflix with takeout from Chipotle. If you saw us from the outside, you'd think we were the picture-perfect couple. But inside, I was starting to feel like I was walking on eggshells. Like one wrong move, one wrong word, and she'd blow up. And here's the part that still eats at me. I ignored it. All of it. Because I loved her. Or maybe because I loved the idea of her. By late 2019, things got weird. She started locking her phone. She never used to care if I picked it up to check the time, but suddenly, she'd snatch it away like it was classified government property. She also started dressing differently. More revealing. More nights out with friends. She'd come home smelling like perfume that wasn't hers. One night, she claimed she was going to a girls' night at a friend's apartment downtown. I didn't think much of it, until I noticed she'd taken her overnight bag. "Just in case I crash there," she said with a smirk. Something in my gut told me it wasn't right. But again, I pushed it down. Then came the trip that should have opened my eyes completely. In February 2020, right before the pandemic hit, Charlotte said she was flying to Dallas to visit her cousin. She was gone for 4 days. When she came back, she was distant, cold, like she was annoyed just being in the same room with me. I asked how the trip was. She shrugged. "Fine." I asked what they did. Just hung out. That was it. No details, no stories, nothing. And I knew. Deep down, I knew something was going on. But I was a coward. I told myself, don't rock the boat. Don't start a fight. So I stayed quiet. The last straw, the moment I should have realized everything was crumbling, came on our anniversary in May 2020. I planned this whole evening. Reservations at Elway Steakhouse, a fancy hotel downtown, champagne waiting in the room. I thought maybe it would spark something again. She showed up late to dinner. Didn't even apologize. Spent half the night texting under the table. Barely touched her food. When I handed her the anniversary gift I'd picked out, a diamond bracelet, she smiled, kissed my cheek and said, "Thanks, babe." Like I'd just handed her a Starbucks gift card. That night, she claimed she had a migraine and went to sleep without touching me. I laid there in the dark, staring at the ceiling of that hotel room, wondering how the hell my marriage had gotten here. And little did I know, that was just the beginning. So, remember how I told you I had that gut feeling? Well, turns out it wasn't just paranoia. It all came crashing down in September of 2020. I remember the date exactly. September 12th. It was a Saturday. The Broncos were playing, and I had some friends over at the house for wings and beer. Charlotte said she was going out for a spa day with her friend Jessica. But here's the thing. She left her iPad at home. And Charlotte, God bless her, had her iMessages synced between her iPhone and iPad. I wasn't snooping at first. I swear. One of my buddies asked if he could use the iPad to order more food on DoorDash. He opens it up and boom, the screen lights up with a text notification from some guy named T. The message: "Last night was unbelievable. Can't wait to see you again." I felt my stomach drop. I grabbed the iPad, heart racing, hands shaking, and opened the thread. And there it was, weeks of messages, pictures, hotel room selfies. The whole sickening truth. My wife wasn't at a spa. She wasn't with Jessica. She was with him. And that moment, I can't even describe it. It's like the air got sucked out of the room. I remember my friend Brian asking, "Dude, are you okay?" And I couldn't even answer. When Charlotte came home that night, I confronted her. "Who the hell is T?" I asked, holding up the iPad. She froze. For the first time, I saw her facade crack. Then, like flipping a switch, she went on the offensive. "You went through my messages? Are you serious? That's a total invasion of privacy." I couldn't believe it. She was caught red-handed, and instead of apologizing, she flipped it on me. I lost it. I yelled. I demanded answers. And finally, after hours of screaming and crying and her trying to twist every word around, she admitted it. She'd been seeing some guy she met at a gym in Aurora. His name was Tyler. The weeks after that were a blur. I wanted to fix things. God, I don't even know why. Maybe because I couldn't believe the life I built was collapsing. But Charlotte, she didn't want to fix anything. By October, she'd already filed for divorce. And let me tell you, the divorce process in Colorado is brutal if your spouse is vindictive. Her lawyer came after me like I was some kind of monster. They painted me as controlling, cold, emotionally distant. They said Charlotte sacrificed her career for me and deserved compensation. Long story short, she walked away with the house in Highlands Ranch. The house I bought before we even got married. And she got a chunk of my investment accounts too. I moved into a 2-bedroom apartment near downtown Denver, while she stayed in our dream house, posting Instagram stories from the backyard like nothing ever happened. I thought that was rock bottom. But I was wrong. Because 2 months after the divorce was finalized, I got an email. No subject line. No signature. Just one sentence and an attachment. "If you don't want these to end up online, you'll send me $10,000. The attachment? Photos. Intimate photos. Ones I never thought anyone else would see. Pictures of me and Charlotte from back when things were good. Back when I trusted her. My blood ran cold. I replied, demanding to know who it was. The answer came back quick. "You know who. Don't be stupid." It was Charlotte. My ex-wife. The same woman who had already taken my house, my money, and my peace of mind. Now trying to humiliate me unless I paid her off. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't think straight. I considered calling the cops, but what was I going to say? "Hi, my ex-wife has embarrassing photos of me, and she's threatening to post them?" I felt like they'd laugh me out of the station. So I did the only thing I knew how. I ignored it. But the messages kept coming. First $10,000, then $20,000. "Don't make me ruin you. I'll send these to your boss. Imagine your mom seeing this." It was sickening. I was wrecked. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. My job performance tanked. I'd stare at my computer screen at work, not even knowing what I was looking at. And one night, when I couldn't take it anymore, I walked into a bar. It was this dive on Colfax Avenue, nothing special, neon lights buzzing, the kind of place that smells like stale beer and regret. I sat down, ordered a whiskey neat, and just stared at the glass like it might give me answers. That's when the guy next to me spoke up. "Tough night?" he asked. I nodded, half-smiled. Something like that. We started talking. His name was Bruce. He was maybe a few years older than me, rougher around the edges, but there was something familiar in his eyes. That same wrecked, hollow look I'd been seeing in the mirror. And then the twist I never could have imagined. After a couple of drinks, we started swapping war stories. Divorce, heartbreak, betrayal. And then Bruce pulled out his phone. He said, "You think your ex was bad? Look at mine." He handed me the phone. I looked at the picture, and I swear to God, my hands went numb. It was Charlotte. The same woman who had destroyed my life, had destroyed his too. I looked at him, speechless, heart pounding. That's my ex-wife. His eyes widened. "You're kidding." "No," I said. "That's her. That's Charlotte." And right there, in that dingy little bar on Colfax, two broken men realized they'd both been played by the same woman. And that's when the story took a turn I never saw coming. And right there, in that moment, I realized everything I thought I knew was just the beginning of something way bigger. Something darker. But that's a story for part 2.